Just one of those things an angler goes through. Frustration inside when a bass breaks off on you. Just one of those things. All you gotta do, cast out one more line, try to catch that bass just one more time. You're up early morning, headed to your home lake. Got your favorite lure tied on, boy, you just can't wait. Got your boat skipping across the lake, headed to your secret spot. You cast the line just in time, but then a bass breaks off. Just one of those things an angler goes through. Frustration inside when a bass breaks off on you. Just one of those things. All you gotta do, cast out one more line, try to catch that bass just one more time, but don't take it personal. No, 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 don't take it personal. Now you move to your next way spot. Got your next lure up and your bowling spot locked. With a jerk here and a twitch there. Now the fight is on. You get that bass up to the boat, but now the bass is gone. Now your day is over and your live well's full. You got some wildlife fish and some crappie too. But the one thing that keeps playing in the back of your mind, you had that big old bass hooked up, but it broke off the line. Just one of those things an angler goes through. Frustration inside when the bass breaks off on you. Just one of those things. All you gotta do, cast out one more line, try to catch that bass just one more time. Just one of those things, baby. Frustration inside. Just one of those things. All you gotta do, cast out one more line, try to catch that bass just one more time. Just one of those things.
Good evening, good evening. This is your boy Ron Pratt, the coordinator, president, and founder of the TTBA. Well, tonight I'm going to do a little something different tonight on YouTube and on Instagram. Tonight on YouTube, this segment is called, and on Instagram, Getting to Know Ron Pratt. And that's me. So I know everybody sees me. The posts I do, some of the tournaments that we wave back. Glad those who are coming in to join me and find out a little bit about what Ron Pratt is about. And matter of fact, before I even got into fishing, and even though as a kid I did get a chance to fish, but it wasn't at the level that the young anglers are at this point in their lives. I really didn't have the mentors that really was about fishing. My life growing up in the inner city as an inner city kid, living in California, Los Angeles, matter of fact, is my home, was basketball and music. My father was a musician. That's where I get the music from. He played a little basketball, but I got the basketball from my uncle growing up. So I'm going to talk a little bit so you can get to know who Ron Pratt is and kind of how I grew up and leading up to my, let's say my travels towards fishing and how I got to that point. But first of all, I'd like to let you know I am 69 years old, born in September. I'll be 70 this coming September. I am the oldest of 10 children. And I am the oldest of 30-something grandchildren. So I am the oldest offspring of my family. Now, when I say the oldest of 10 children, actually we're split up, and if anybody knows, especially about Black families, we were a total of 4 families in one. So the first 4 oldest are Pratts, and then there's 2 in between, a Lofton and a Taylor, and I'm putting us in order of birth. And then the last 4 were Smiths. So, but trust me, my mother ruled with an iron fist in my household. That's right, has no age limit. Fishing has no age limit. That is so true. You can do this at any age. But anyway, like I said, my mother ironed with an iron fish our household. Trust me. She had 7 boys and 3 girls. And mom didn't play. Especially with me being the oldest, mom didn't play. I knew how to respect mom and the authority that she held in our household and the way she ruled her house. Now, my mother was very open person, but she also was about discipline, and you was going to definitely follow the rules in her house. Eventually, after like I said, there's 10 of us. There's 3 have passed since over the last few years. 2 of my brothers and a sister within the past year, just around Christmas time, just before her birthday, she passed of cancer. It wasn't COVID. So, and with my sister, that was hard for me to go through that, to see her pass like that. But I'm going a little ahead of myself, so let's back up. Anyway, like I said, my mother ruled with an iron fist the household. She took care of things. She took care of business. If you were to meet my mother at the time, you would not think that she was not a high school graduate and that she had 10 kids. The type of job that she did have as we got older into our high school years, was for the county. She was head of her union for the county of Los Angeles. When she walked into the room or any office in the county of Los Angeles, as far as where welfare was concerned, trust me, you think the boogeyman was walking down the street. Managers was afraid of this woman, but she didn't play. And that's how she taught her kids. And she taught us to be the best that we can be at anything that we did. So like I said, my first love didn't start with fishing, even though I got a chance to fish as a little kid. But my things was music and basketball. And like I said, my uncles got me started in basketball, and my father got me started in music because he was a musician, played all over LA County. I wanted to be like him as a musician. Eventually, as I got into elementary school, we did a lot of stuff, playing instruments and stuff like that. I got into a lot of different instruments playing in elementary school, and also was playing basketball. So both of the activities, as far as music and basketball, kind of went hand in hand with me as I was growing up. And with my father, like I said, my father was a musician, played all over LA. My father was like motorcycles and music and women. And I also learned how to ride motorcycles from him. Matter of fact, that's how he met my mother, by offering her a ride on his Triumph when he was a teenager. So, and matter of fact, my mother, my father, and also I have, and I don't even know if they're alive anymore, but godparents, and they all went to the same high school in California. They all went to Jefferson. All my uncles all went to Jefferson in LA. I ended up going to Manual Arts when I ended up in high school. But me as a kid, I was pretty easygoing. I was basically an introvert. I wasn't My wife is asking me what happened to the Storage Wars. I just got a message from her. But anyway, like I was saying, my father was a musician. He was rode motorcycles, and that's where I got that from him. Is playing music for my love for music, riding motorcycles. Like I said, that's how he met my mother, riding his motorcycle. So and she ended up doing a lot of riding around with him. So I picked that up in my childhood. I also picked up the music. Matter of fact, I was the first when I went to middle school. I was the first one to enter into the talent show and do it live. Now, how I got into playing the guitar is because my brother had brought home this guitar from down the street. Somebody had to learn how to play it. They was having a guitar class at my middle school, which they didn't call it that. It was junior high school back when I was going to school. And I learned how to play guitar. And I was the first one to do a live talent show, doing it live where everybody lip synced or danced to music, those type of things in a middle school talent show for those who ever did talent shows. So that was my first one and did it live. And the year after that, the second year that I did the talent show, we did it all live. So I was kind of innovative in doing that. And my father was also a swimmer. Now, I know some of the science said, well, Black people don't swim. Well, my father swam like a shark. He loved the water. Matter of fact, my father was the first Black or African American lifeguard of the Olympic pool, of the LA Olympic pool, not the second one they built for SC, but the first one, the Olympic Stadium, the Olympic pool. My father was the first Black manager of that Olympic pool. Also, there was another pool in LA that was right around the corner from my grandmother's called South Park. For those who lived in the LA Basin area, South Central area, know about South Park. My father also was a manager of that park, that pool too. So like during summertime, when we could swim in the pool, we used to be able to go in early before everybody else because my father had a key. And so we got to go in and we got to swim before everybody else came in so that we could wouldn't have to deal with the crowd and all that thing. So we got to go in and swim early. That's how I learned to swim, partly with my father, partly with the YMCA as a kid. So those are the things with my father that he really wasn't a fisherman, which I learned later. But he was a swimmer, like I said. It's a wonder he wasn't in the Olympics. That man could swim, like I said, like a shark. And I'm going to tell you a story about that later, about him and me offering him to go fishing with me. What's up, G-Child? I see you in the house. Let me wave at you. So anyway, I got into music because of my father and because of, hey, somebody at our school had a guitar. Well, we had a guitar club, and matter of fact, the music teacher was starting up a guitar club. So I joined. Why not? I had this guitar at home, and it was funny. It was a Gibson 335. If anybody knows about guitars, it was a 335. The strings were so far off the neck, my fingers hurt. So learning how to play that thing, but I learned how to play it. Trust me. Just like learning how to ride motorcycles. My father owned two 1952 Thunderbirds motorcycles, identical. And I ended up learning how to ride 4-speed. And from my house, I get on there and shift gears and pretend like I'm riding. And eventually he would let me ride up and down the street. So that's how I got into riding motorcycles. And eventually, as I got into high school, I ended up buying my first motorcycle of my own. And that was a Honda 60, which if you find any one of those are ancient. If you ever find a Honda 60. and it was from a neighbor down the street from me. But also with the basketball, I got into basketball because I enjoyed sports. And I was talking to my wife and I was telling her how, like none of her brothers got into sports. And even though she didn't have as many brothers as I had, even though all of my brothers were not in sports, I was. I had a brother who played tennis, who was 6'6", and everybody in my all the coaches in my high school was after him to get him to play basketball, but he wouldn't. He played tennis though. I had a sister that was in dance. She participated in dance. Oh, and they participated in the glee club, some of them too. But one of my sisters was in dance. Ended up coming to Vegas to dance in one of the shows. So, but as far as sports, I was really heavy in sports, especially basketball. I mean, I was not as much as music. I wasn't as heavy as into as I was into basketball. I mean, I was like, when you talk about a gym rat, I was truly a gym rat. I played at least 6 days a week. And living in the valley, when I moved to the valley of San Gabriel Valley, there was a lot of areas where I played in the gyms and that, as I got older and lived in the different areas around in the San Gabriel Valley, Covina, West Covina, La Puente, Monrovia, that area in the San Gabriel Valley, and that area, Ontario, California, those areas, Irwindale. Anybody remember the Irwindale Raceway? I could hear the cars like I can hear up here in Sunrise Mountain, here in the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I could hear the cars racing. So, I used to hang out at the gyms all the time playing ball. And as I got older and playing in high school and that was my biggest dream, was to play pro basketball. It wasn't so much music, but, music was kind of secondary at the time. So my thing was pro basketball, and kind of what swayed me back and forth was when I got my first band in high school to play bass, and I didn't know nothing about playing no bass. I didn't know anything about playing bass guitar, but the guy who wanted me in his band, and the guy by the name of Rusty Campbell, was I believe, the lead guitar player in the band. Wanted me to join the band. They needed a bass player, and so they taught me how to play the bass. And we didn't have a bass. We had a regular guitar and took 2 of the strings off to create a bass. Isn't that funny? So that's what we used, was my first bass guitar in this band. And I thought that was very exciting to be in a band and play music. So as it progressed, G, the first instrument I played in a band was the bass guitar. Yes, it was. Even though I was learning on a regular 6-string guitar, the first instrument I played in the band was the bass. And matter of fact, Mr. G, who's on the phone on me live right now, I used to play with him, and he's a bass player, so that's why he made this comment and made that comment. And also, there's also a photo. If you go to my Facebook page, I have a picture of me and him in the background, and me in the foreground with me holding a guitar. And funny place that where we're standing is on the property where the palms now sit. So that was a long, long time ago. But anyway, so on the basketball side, like I said, my uncle got me started in basketball, and I got involved in music, and I really wanted to play pro basketball. That was really my thing, of playing pro basketball. I was pretty decent. I wouldn't say I was the top-notch player or anything like that. I didn't have no titles. I didn't have no trophies, but I had attitude. I had drive, and I had a goal in mind. So I wanted to play pro basketball. So I mean, like I said, I was a gym rat. So I was always in the gym. And then after graduating high school, so we talk about in the '70s. Oh, we had in the '60s the Vietnam War. So guess what? I was drafted in the '70s. That I got out of high school. Right off after I got out of high school, I was drafted into the Army actually, but I didn't want to go into the Army. And the only reason why I didn't want to go into the Army because my stepfather, Mr. Samuel Oliver Smith, was a former Marine, and a lot of his friends were former Marines. And so that's all I heard. Part of my growing up is about the Marine Corps, about the Marine Corps. So when I got drafted and my number was number 3, when everybody was getting 300 and something, 400 and something, 500 something, my number in 1952 was number 3. And a friend of mine was in number 7. He ended up going into the Air Force, Billy Ray Coates. And we played, matter of fact, Billy Ray and myself played basketball in high school. We did a lot of sports in high school and had a lot of fun. But anyway, I ended up getting drafted, and I volunteered and going to the Marine Corps during the Vietnam campaign. And I lucked out. I really lucked out in that situation and was able to come back home and be safe and be healthy, and still continue to live a healthy life, and nothing far as with war is concerned, and the battle of war and dealing with that really affected me really, I would say, mentally, because of my upbringing, because what I know, I came from a disciplined home. My mother, when my stepfather showed up, he was very disciplined, but I loved that man. He taught me about the Marine Corps. He took us hunting when we was little kids. We got to learn how to hunt. We got to learn how to shoot when we were little kids. So I appreciate that. So when I went to the Marine Corps, when I came out of boot camp, I told my mother, I said, you need to go show those drill instructors something, because that was child's play compared to what I was used to being brought up to, and as far as where discipline goes. So the Marine Corps going through boot camp, now trust me, boot camp ain't no joke. Marine Corps boot camp is no joke, but I was able to get through it because of my discipline, because of my state of mind, because of my upbringing, because of my teachings. So that's what helped me get through boot camp. That's what's helped me get through a lot of things in life. But anyway, so along the way with all the basketball I was doing, I really got an opportunity after I got a Marine Corps and was doing a lot of ball. And matter of fact, I have gotten married. By the time I had gotten out of boot camp, I had gotten married and had a daughter who today I don't talk to, unfortunately. That marriage didn't last very long, and we ended up divorcing. I ended up divorcing her mother. And even though I tried to get back in contact with my daughter and try to be there in her life, it was made very difficult. I was in a situation where at that time in the '70s, a black man being married to a white woman. And on top of that, not only that, she was the poster child for polio back in the late 50s. Yeah, she had polio. So when we divorced, a lot of bad things came my way in that divorce. And I don't want to go into a bunch of details because it's not really necessary. Just to let you know that, I lost that relationship with my daughter. As a matter of fact, I have a grandson by my daughter who I haven't seen since he was about 2 years old. And you would say, well, do I regret that? Do I feel bad? And I would say to a degree, but I've learned to live with that because really, as I go on and talk about who I am, I didn't really miss out on anything. I know I'm a strong person. I know I'm strong willed. Let me wave back at you. Oops. I got another camera going that I'm recording this, and I just knocked it over. So I am a strong person. I am strong willed, and it's because of my upbringing. Now, I'm not a religious person. I'm more of a spiritual person, even though, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. I was in the church helping. We used to feed the homeless here because I now live in Las Vegas. But I'll get to that in a little bit. But because of my upbringing, in a way, my mother taught us is that to be the best that we can. Don't let anyone stop us from accomplishing whatever we have our goals in life. Because I've done a lot of things in my life I don't regret. Just like with the music, trust me, I've done a lot. I never had a chance to get that monetary, but I've been able to do a lot of things that in certain fields that a lot of people wish they could have did. Just like we talk about the music. Okay, even with the basketball. With the basketball, I got an opportunity to go to Salt Lake City. And at the time, before the ABA merged with the NBA, there was a team called the Utah Stars. Now, the Utah Stars originally came out of LA. Now, if you know your basketball, you would know that. If you don't, they originally came out of LA and moved to Utah, and they were called the Utah Stars. And eventually, when that faded and New Orleans Jazz ended up moving to Utah, that's where you get the Utah Jazz. But they were actually the Utah Stars, and that's when the ABA. Well, I had a tryout because I said I did a lot of basketball. I was playing 7 days, at least 5 days. 6 days a week. If I wasn't playing in the Valley area, I would go into the city. I would drive into LA, which is about a 45-minute drive from my home. I would go into LA and I'd play. And so I was always playing ball. And I got this opportunity to get a tryout with the Utah Stars. So I ended up going to Salt Lake. And at the time, the Utah Stars were playing in the Salt Palace. And I so happened to live downtown, right around the corner from the Salt Palace. So this got me back into the music. When I got to Utah and I called up the coach, because how I got that supposedly tryout was with a coach that was, supervising the gyms at night at one of the gyms that I used to play in all the time. So he knew one of the coaches, our managers of the Utah Stars at the time, and got me a little tryout. So I said, cool. So like I said, I ended up in Utah, and contacted the coach of the team, and this is the message I get. Sorry, we're not taking any more tryouts or walk-on tryouts because we just drafted this young man named Moses Malone. Now, not Karl Malone, Moses Malone went to the Utah Stars. And when the two leagues merged, eventually Moses Malone ended up going to Philadelphia, where they ended up winning the championship, if I remember correctly. So when they told me that Moses Malone was drafted and out of high school, and that was one of the first athletes I ever heard being drafted out of high school, I played pro ball. I said, well, I guess I'll head back to California and try this music on again for size. But like I said, I got to do a lot of things in music. I got a chance to record. I've gotten a chance to do red carpet. I've gotten a chance to bring artists or have artists here in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay, at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I've been able to do that with music. I've been able to go to a Radio One convention in Ohio one time. That was a great experience from some people I met. I was doing some promotion here in Las Vegas. I've been able to do a lot of things. Also, I was involved in a record company. Matter of fact, my good friend, Eric Smitty Smith, is a producer, record producer, also music publisher. Now he lives in the Dominican Republic. But we used to write big time together here in Las Vegas with another brother named Ron Hawkins. We used to do a lot of writing together. We did lyrics. I was also at a production company called Under Pressure here in Las Vegas. I mean, I was doing a thing in music. I had it going on. I was trying to make things happen. But eventually, like all good things, comes to an end. And that comes to having the people that you may have around you that may be supporting you, that may not have your best interests at heart, may not be the type of person, may not be one who are open to innovation, because I am a person who have foresight. Just like I said about the music, I was also very active in creating what you guys do now as far as downloading music. I mean, back in the day, the way we did it, hey, cassettes. We ping pong, play the radio, turn on the cassette, and record the music if the recording was internal. And then eventually we would record from the radio and, internally. That's how we did it. I mean, the way when we was writing songs, we would get a track, bring it back to my house, and ping pong back and forth from player to player to write songs. But I was kind of innovative in the part of creating a software, and I wasn't really, a programmer, but I had a part in trying to make that happen. And then eventually, MP3 came along. During the time I was trying to create a software or something where I could load up music on the internet, because we had AOL, Americans Online. Oh, was that? Oh, going back to them days. Ooh, my goodness. But anyway, we found a way where we could get our music online, and it was great. So was able to get our music online through MP3. I was like, wow, okay. And at that time, I was working with, we had with my friend Eric Smitty Smith, we had a record company. They had started a record company here in Las Vegas called Big Money Records, but we dropped the E. So it's basically Big Money Records, but we pronounced it Big Money Records. And so we were doing some producing, doing some artists, really producing out of that spot where we were doing and making some great music. So we was doing a thing, and that's where a lot of innovation that we're doing. And when I brought back to them, I said, look, we could get our music out there on MP3 to the world, because we was trying to figure out how we can get our music out of our backyard. Everybody, our friends, they hear our music, they love it. Yeah, we like it, but we didn't know how the world really perceived it. But of course, like I said, I can foresee things and I'm an innovator. And when I see and I can feel it and hear it and smell it and taste it all at the same time, I know it's real. And I brought this information back to my team, and my team said, "Oh yeah, okay, Ron, all right, V." Back in the day, that's what I was known as, Bernard Michaels. That was my performance name because I used to perform. So they said, "Oh V, it's cool, um, but we'll just put it on the shelf right now." Well, when I have a vision of something, I can't just put it on the shelf. It don't work for me. I have to continue to go forward. So I went forward with the idea of taking this album and putting it on the internet. And matter of fact, I forget the title of the album, but the one of the songs that I put out by a gentleman by the name of Bernard Lilton, who rest his soul has been passed for several years now. But oh, what a hell of a singer! What a voice! And one of the songs that we wrote on his album was called Hoochie. As a matter of fact, I have a copy of it here right now, um, called Hoochie. Let me get it. See if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. I found it. This album right here. This was the one of the singles on it, and we put it out there. When I put it out on MP3 after my guy said no, we're going to put it on the shelf, I was getting requests from all over the country for this particular album, and happened to be the producer is Eric Smitty Smith on this, and several other albums I have on my shelf next to me that he was a producer and that I was involved in. And MP3 was like, wow. Matter of fact, I even went to a seminar at their compound in San Diego just to see really what they were about back in that time when MP3 was first coming out and digital music was being able to be downloaded. That was a great experience. So, yeah, I got to do a lot of things in the music and see inside the music. But one thing I always say, and I tell my wife, and like I said, the biggest thing about the music industry is that I didn't get that monetary. And I'm going to tell you why, or I say why I didn't make it to the point that I thought I should have, is because I wasn't willing to sell my soul. If you're going to be in the music industry, you're going to have to sell your soul. And, some people say, oh, Ryan, trust me. I gave my wife an example of what they called a couch interview. So trust me, I wasn't willing to do that. If I couldn't make it on my own morals, on my own talent, on my own knowledge, then evidently it wasn't for me. So, but I had a good time in music. I was able to do a lot of things. I mean, to be a local in Las Vegas and put unknown artists in a major hotel on the Strip, Mandalay Bay. Not a local has done that. Not at that time. I can't say now because I don't do nothing with the Strip at all. Because I used to work in a major hotel, and it wasn't entertainment; it was cleaning floors. But I got to see a lot. I got to see a lot of actors. I seen so many movies made in this town. It's ridiculous. Just in the hotel I worked in. So yeah, but I experienced the music business here. It was really great. And same thing like playing basketball. I used to play basketball here when I first came to Las Vegas. But like I said, I am now almost 70, and I can't do those things anymore. Matter of fact, I was just talking to my brother who's in his mid, just about 2 years behind me. He said he's still playing racquetball. I can't do it anymore. I'm thin, but the knees won't allow me to do it anymore because I played sports heavy, big time when I was much younger. So I can't do it anymore. And part of that is how I got up to fishing. But I want you to know that if I'm a friend, if I'm a friend of yours, I am truly a friend. I got your back. I will support you. Just like you see me wearing my native angler gear. When I got involved with native angler, this brother didn't know me. I didn't know him. But it was something about him and his gear that I really liked. And I bought his first one, and it was a little. He told me it was his first one that hung off my shoulders and all that like that. I was like, this must be for a female because it's not fitting me properly. And I told him honestly, I said, I don't know how often I'm going to wear that just because of the way it was cut. But I have continued to buy his product. And eventually became part of Fish Pro staff. I did one of the first advertisements on one of my videos for his product. He didn't ask me to. I did it because I believed in what he had. I believed in what I was seeing. So I took it upon myself. That's the type of person I am. I give nothing but love. I'm not a selfish person. I'm willing to teach. I'm willing to share. I'm willing to learn from other people. I'm never too old that I can't learn. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to be the best that I could be. Like I said earlier, I used to be in a church, and even though I'm not a religious person, but I was still doing some searching at the time. And I had some questions on my mind that had been going on since I was a child. But I was in a church. We were here in Las Vegas. We call it the Vineyards of Christ Ministry, and we were doing a ministry out in the parks, out in the community with the homeless. We were feeding. Matter of fact, we were feeding the homeless. And we did this for several years. We went through the idea of that the mayor of Las Vegas closed parks on us, made it against the law to feed the homeless. And in some cases, in some areas, I truly understand because a lot of the people that lived in some of the communities where we were taking care of the homeless, are ministering to the homeless, we're in small communities around school parks, stuff like that. And we understand, and there could be a lot of vagrancy. And it kind of upset the community where we were doing that, and especially in one of the parks in the community that we would do every Sunday. So I got to see a lot of homeless here. And also, I was doing a job for a while working for Amazon where we were delivering packages in this town. And I saw where a lot more homeless. And it hurts my heart that I'm in a spot that, or in a country where we have this many homeless. In Las Vegas, California, just all over the country, really. But to see this in Las Vegas, we the money town, we supposed to be all that, but we got a lot of homeless, and don't know what to do with, and nobody knows what to do with them. They want to ship them out of Nevada, send them anywhere else but in Nevada. But like every town, we have our woes. But like I said, in the music, I got a chance to do the music. I got a chance to basketball. And as I got older, I needed to do something else. Oh, by the way, let me tell you, I am married and have been married now for 25 years to my wife. And we met at, guess what? At our job, the Riviera Hotel and Casino is where we met. And it's no longer standing. And she was in cocktails, and I was in housekeeping. And what I learned, if you was dating or married to a cocktail waitress in Las Vegas, man, you was doing the most. As far as everybody else is concerned, you was doing the most. And we've been together now 25 years. We have no children together, though she does have 4, and 3 of them I pretty much helped raise. And all 4 of them, matter of fact, are doing very great. I could always brag on those 4. I mean, one had just, my son just became assistant vice president to American Airlines. I have a daughter that we're going to go see next month in Virginia and see our granddaughter. She graduated magna cum laude from her FAMU. Also fought in Afghanistan, part of that campaign, and she was in transportation and still graduated at the top of her class. We have another daughter that's in Florida, which I'll be going there in July, that is a hospital administrator and one of the youngest hospital administrators. And the other daughter here in Las Vegas, she's dealing with accounting, also with the Cleveland Clinic. She's doing great work with that and has always done great work. She's been in kind of like the hospitality sector of the industry and doing great things. So, and all my kids graduated high school. There was no babies prior to that. Neither my son or the daughters had babies prior to graduating high school. They all pretty much graduated at the top of their class. Like I said, even though I lost a daughter through marriage, I didn't miss out anything because I still was able to walk one of my daughters down the aisle when she got married. I got to see everybody graduate from their prospective high schools or colleges. So I really didn't miss out anything. I love my family. I love what they've accomplished, and I support them 100%. I'm not a person who's jealous. I don't have time for that nonsense. For those who, I'm the type of person who's going to lift you up if you're doing great. And that's what I want to see. I want to see people doing great. I'm that type of person. I'm the cheerleader. I will be your cheerleader on the sidelines, no matter, just like with Native Angler Apparel. I always want to say Native American, but Native Angler Apparel. A couple other companies that are not big names in the fishing industry, like Hootie Hoot Baits, another one, and they support me. Exclusive Custom Lures, another one who makes custom baits. Eric Smitty Smith with this Smitty Beats Music, and that's SMIDI beatsmusic.com. They all support me, and I support them 100%. I'm there to come to the rescue, and especially with Smitty. Smitty and I used to produce back in the day, so we're always in contact with each other. And any of my videos that you may see, any advertisements I may do, those are basically his tracks in my background. I mean, if you want radio ready, or if you're a songwriter, oh, hot tracks, over 400. So you need to check that out. But I'm a dedicated friend. And I lost friends. I lost a friend I thought was a friend due to the COVID. In the beginning of COVID, and this guy, we talked for 5 years of how he's going to make me a fisherman, and I'm going to get how I really got into fishing, but he was going to make me the Mr. Rogers of fishing, and we talked for 5 years, and because we had a different opinion, and he thought I was going to walk to his drum, we no longer talk. We haven't talked in 2 years, and I'm also this type of person is. You can either like me. If you like me, good. If you don't like me, that's good too. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I don't have time to lose sleep on who likes me or who don't like me. I'm a cancer survivor. I didn't mention that. I'm a cancer survivor of 19 years. And I want to talk a little bit about that, surviving cancer. But let me talk about that right now. This is something I want to get off my chest. I need to. About 19 years ago, I ended up having cancer called multiple lymphoma. And I hear all the stories about, everybody that's gone through cancer, one form or another, how they had the support system, how they had family and friends and their church and their prayer groups and all that in line that helped them survive, or some that didn't make it. I didn't have none of that. 100%, I had none of that. I had my family, no family that was here to see me, other than my wife. One of my daughters came to see me, and I'm not chastising them for that. That's so long ago. But just to see, to show you what kind of person I am. I didn't have no prayer group. I didn't have no friends that came and saw me, maybe except for one from my job. As a matter of fact, when I was going through my cancer, there was 5 other people going through cancer at the same time. So there was 5 of us, actually 6 of us, going through cancer at the same time on the job. Mine happened to be multiple lymphoma. There was some breast cancer. Let me wave at you. There was some breast cancers. There was another person had multiple lymphoma like I did, and another form of cancer. I know 2 of them have passed since that time that we was going through cancer. But I didn't have that. Like I said, I didn't have the family support. And I hate to put my brother on blast, but when I told him I was going to cancer, his thing was he wasn't ready to be big brother. He wasn't ready to be big brother. So no, you can't be dying on me because I ain't ready to take that position. I ain't ready for the responsibility. Like I said, none of my brothers, other brothers, family checked on me. My family, my married family, nobody. No church was praying for me. There was no prayer group. There was none of that. It was all on the strength of me. All that I carried inside me. All that I believe in me, which got me through that. And my attitude about cancer was, somebody left the wrong thing on my doorstep. It was like somebody threw trash on my doorstep, and I was looking for them. You need to pick up your trash because this don't belong to me. That's how I got through cancer. And when I went for my final checkup, now it's been almost 19 years now. When I went for my final checkup, I went in all black. And I told my wife I was going to a funeral. She says, whose funeral was you going to? I said, cancer's. And she laughed. I have been cancer-free ever since. Nothing. I never had the whooping cough. I never had the measles. I never had the mumps. I never had the chicken pox. I never had, and I haven't had a cold as long as I can remember. And so far, I've been able to avoid COVID. I've been blessed in that sense. I've never really been sick. Yes, I've had cancer. I've had some other things, since I've gone older. I've had two shoulder surgeries. I've had a knee replacement. No, not a knee replacement, but I've have had some microscopic surgery. I've had a hip replacement, but I've jumped back from all of those situations because I'm the type of person is I can't let anyone take responsibility for my health or look at me, look over me, or care for me. I refuse to let that happen because I need to be able to function. And when I had my hip surgery replacement, I was back home in 3 days. Like I said, I got through cancer. I've been clean for almost 19 years now. I've even had carpal tunnel. I had to have a bone removed out of my wrist here not too long ago. I've had it, and a lot of that is wear and tear. But I refuse to be sick. I refuse to be ill. I refuse to be put down. That's how strong my will is. I'm a fighter. Like I said, I didn't get the monetary success that I wanted to in some of my fields, but I put in the effort. I take people along with me. I'm there to be a helper. I'm there to help give advice if I have any. But let's talk about how I became a fisherman. Like I said earlier, I wanted to play basketball and I got too old. Can't jump no more. Can't definitely shoot no more. I was getting tennis elbow. That's why I stopped playing basketball. It was hurting my elbow to shoot. I just couldn't do it anymore. So I was looking for a sport that I could get into that was fun, that was competitive because I am a competitive person, but also relaxing at the same time. So I started watching fishing on TV. And with that thought in mind about looking for something else I could do and still be active, and a gentleman by the name of Bill Dance said, join a bass club. You know what, Bill? You got the right idea. Join a bass club. So that's what I did. I joined a bass club. I happened to find, and matter of fact, down the street from me, there is a little tackle shop and I dermataxi. I forget what they call it. There was a processor. Like when you hunt deer and stuff like that, they process your catch or your fish. Excuse me. Like deer, sheep, whatever you might shoot out there, whatever the season's open here in the desert. They would process that right next door, and also they have a tackle shop. So anyway, when I learned that from Bill Dance, I decided, okay, that was cool. And I happened to go by this tackle shop, and on the window was, come and join our bass club. So I said, okay, cool. I found me a bass club, and it was called the SSBA, Silver State Bass Anglers. So I called them up and went and checked them out. Got to go on a first-time fishing trip, in one of the tournaments. I thought that was very exciting. But it was the only thing about this bass club. I was the only African-American in the bass club. And I didn't have no problem with that, being the only African-American in the bass club. I spent 9 years with that bass club. I spent 3 years as a tournament director. And in those 3 years as a tournament director, I was also vice president. So when you become vice president, you also take on the duties of tournament director. So I was responsible for, getting all the permits for the year, for each of the tournament each month. And we did a tournament a month. I was at each tournament I was responsible for, since it was a catch and release and not a weigh-in. We did a catch and release, and we had what you call a weigh-in sheet. It was my responsibility after the tournament is to add up all the totals, and then we would, depending on how many was fishing that tournament, we would take it to the top 10, to the top 4, or who was ever in the top 3, whatever the case may be, where we were fishing, that's what we would do. So I got my experience with fishing in this bass club, and I really enjoyed having a bass boat. I was like, wow, this is cool. So I ended up getting me my own bass boat, because I wanted my own bass boat. I wanted to get out there and fish. And so when I retired from the Riviera, which I am retired, I ended up buying me a bass boat. So anyway, the reason why I left the bass club was because I felt that I didn't get the support that I should have from the bass club, as far as what I was trying to accomplish. I had a tournament. Matter of fact, I looked for another organization that I got involved with. I finally got involved with out of North Carolina, and they needed to do a tournament in California, which I ended up doing. My first big time tournament, and up in Northern California, Clear Lake. And I decided, I wasn't getting enough support here. Any younger guys come in, they would come in. Remember, I'm still, even new guys, I'm still the only African American in the club. And they weren't giving me the support. I didn't feel like I was part of the club. I just felt like I was more of a token of the club and not a part of the club. So I had finally decided to leave that club. I was working with this other organization and got invited to go to ICAST, which I thought was really cool up in Florida. And I thought that was really cool. So I got to go to ICAST, one of the largest outdoor fishing shows in the country. So matter of fact, I'm going again this time. That's been several years that I went to ICAST. But I got into this organization, did my first big tournament, and I ended up doing all the work, even though I had somebody there that was supposed to help me with that. But I ended up doing all the work. It didn't work out with this organization. I wasn't happy with the way things went down. So in the process of with this other organization, I met a gentleman there that was part of the organization, and we met at ICAST, and we really hit it off big. So all that went down with this other organization. We end up both dropping, letting that go, and starting what you see behind me now, the TTBA, Team Trail Bassin Association. And basically, the name was my idea. I had this idea, and it was funny because I was thinking about, I need to start my own because I'm not being treated fair here. People only got my back like I had other people's back. So I decided to start my own organization. And now it's been 7 years with the TTBA. But we got together and decided to start to do the TTBA. And if you see it in my earlier videos, when I first talk about the TTBA, and I'm saying that I'm the co-founder, and but really I was a founder because I was doing all the work. And we discussed this when my family was making some changes in the organization. And he had some things that in his life he needed to take care of some personal things and make some changes in his life, which is understandable. And he agreed that I was heavily involved with the TTBA. I mean, even with my truck, far as having my sponsors that's on there on my truck. So that's how I got involved in the TTBA. And I really enjoy fishing. I really enjoy the sport. I want to see people come together and embrace this sport. So that's something about me. The little things I travel, but I feel that I'm a good person. Like I said, if I'm your friend, I am truly your friend. I don't mind working with anybody as long as we can work together. Uh, I'm a go getter. I said my mother taught us growing up. Whatever you do, be the best. If you dig a ditch, at the end of the day, when you leave that ditch, your ditch was the deepest, the more square, the best looking ditch that you dug at the end of the day. Always be the best that you can be. Mother always told me I could be anything I wanted to be, as long as I put my mind to it. I know I can. Just like I beat cancer. I knew I could beat cancer because cancer wasn't mine. And we caught it in time. It was strange how it happened, but we were able to catch it in time. And I did everything. I changed my diet and everything. But I knew cancer wasn't mine, and I wasn't going to accept it. I know that and part of my family with my grandfathers on both my mother and father's side, there's entrepreneur mentality. They both my grandfathers owned shops in L.A. and moving services in L.A. and I seen it trickle down in my through the other generations, past my father's generation, but into our generation. My brother's a professional photographer and has been over 30 years now in Portland. Like I said, I've done music, trying to do music. I've always been a type of person that's been a creative person. That's why I like being creative. I write songs. I'm a songwriter. I'm a publisher. I'm a producer. A lot of that I don't do anymore. Every now and then I'll write some parodies. And in the beginning of this, you heard something that I did as a parody called Just One of Those Things that Anger Goes Through. So these are different things I like to do. But Ron Pratt is just a everyday guy, just trying to do the best he can. Proud that the accomplishments that his family has made because I supported them. I was behind them. I pushed them. And I wasn't going to accept anything less. Nothing but the best. And they've become the best. And I'm going to keep pushing as long as I can get out of my bed. And I tell this to everybody. Whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm trying to accomplish in life, as long as I can still get up out of my bed each morning, wake up, wash my face, have a cup of coffee, even go work every once in a while. That's me. Another phrase I always say to people, you may slow my roll, but you won't stop me. Because I'm not going to allow you to. That's like a train. You could put some a wall there. You could put put some big boards there to slow my roll. But I can blow those off the track. I can put some dynamite in the wall and blow a hole in the wall. I might be slowed up on my initial goal, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm a fighter. I'm a creator. I think on a logical level. I use logic in any way I think. I envision. Like I said, I'm not a religious person. I'm not into religion. I'm spiritual. I'm more in contact with the universe and what it has to offer and what the lessons and what comes to me. Trust me. Like I'm talking to you right now, I can get answers to questions that I need and hear them just like I'm talking to you. And I've been able to do that all my life. And somewhere along the line, I stopped doing that, but I've gotten back on track over the years doing that. I believe in what I do, and I believe in the people around me. And if I'm online and I see something out there, I'm going to support you. If I see something special, I'm going to post up on your Facebook page or on Instagram or wherever you may be. If I see something very interesting, that's how I am. I'm a supporter of people. I'm here to bring, just like in the bass fishing, I enjoy this. I enjoy being a coordinator. I enjoy creating new ideas. I enjoy stepping outside the box. That's why I'm doing online fishing, because it's something different. I like being different. I don't like always walking the same path. I walk to my own drum. I don't walk to everybody else's drum. So I guess that's why some people have issues with me, because I'm not a follower, I'm a leader. But also what I learned in the Marine Corps, in order to be a good leader, you got to be able to be a good follower. You got to be able to take instruction, take commands before you can give commands. Well, that's all for tonight. I've been on here for now, though, over an hour. I hope this gives you some idea about who Ron Pratt is. I just love to be able to help people when I can. Like I said, I used to feed the homeless, used to minister to the homeless. And it hurt me to see them in that situation, and being a veteran, especially being a veteran, to seeing what's going on with the veterans in our country. Like I said, I am a Vietnam vet. And I know this country really stuck their nose up to the veterans that came back from Vietnam, calling us baby killers and all this kind of things, some derogatory statements against veterans, those Vietnam vets. But war is hell. And at times you don't know who's the enemy. Especially when you're in a situation where you're in a foreign land, not yours. So, but I survived it. I made it through. I'm still a whole person. I still have goals in life. So with that, I hope you get a sense of who I am as a person. And I am a good person. Like I said, I've been my wife 25 years, and it ain't been that easy. Trust me, no marriage is, but it takes work. It takes work. All relationships take work. And you got to be willing to put in the work. That's in anything you may do out there, just like what I do with the fishing, just like I did with basketball, just like I did with music. Put in the work. You may not get all the rewards, but you're going to get some of the rewards from the work. I can guarantee that much. Well, I done talked your ear off enough tonight. I hope you enjoyed me. Anytime you want to check me out, you can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, also on, I'm trying to get it all together, but there's so many. But yeah, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me at Facebook at ronald.pratt.50. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and TikTok at Pratt. Oh, excuse me, wrong. at TTBA, at TTBA_fishing. Again, you can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, and Pinterest and TikTok at TTBA_fishing. You can find me on YouTube at YouTube/Fishing with Ron Pratt. So those are my platforms. Also, look for us on our webpage, and that's at teamtrailbass.com. And for all your fishing information for our tournaments, become part of our community board where you can feature your best catch. Also, we have a blog page that you can learn about different techniques in fishing. Also, we have some videos on there, so come and check out our pages, and especially our web page, and sign up for our tournaments, in our future tournaments. We got one coming up in March. We haven't posted that one up yet. I will be in a few days posting that one up about the March tournament and coming on and telling you all about that tournament. So look forward to that coming up. And also, we're going to be doing a giveaway on that also. So stay tuned for that giveaway. But anyway, I'm glad you was able to join me this evening. Have a great evening. Everybody out there, be safe when you go fishing. What I like to say, be safe, see you on the water, and remember, don't be wishing, be fishing. This is your boy, Ron Pratt, the coordinator, president, and founder of the TTBA. I'm out, and when on my way out, I want to play you just one of those things.
An angler goes through frustration inside when a bass breaks off on you. Just one of those things.
Just want to let you know.
All you gotta do, cast out one more line, try to catch that bass.
Sorry.
Just one of those things.
Just want to let you know that this song is just for entertainment
Cast out
purposes.
one more line, try to catch that bass just one more time. You're up early morning, headed to your home lake. Got your favorite lure tied on, boy, you just can't wait. Got your boat skipping across the lake, headed to your secret spot. You cast the line just in time, but then a bass breaks off. Just one of those things. An angler goes through frustration inside when a bass breaks off on you. Just one of those things. All you gotta do, cast out one